Hello and welcome to the program. I'm your host, Neil Howard, here on Health Professional Radio. Going to have a conversation with Mr. Chad Chubb. He's the founder of WealthKeel. It's a Philadelphia-based financial planner, and he's joining us to talk about his niche market for individuals that struggle with massive student loan debts, among other types of debt. Welcome to the program, Chad.
Hi, Neil. Thank you very much for having me today. I appreciate it.
I mentioned that you're based out of Philadelphia. You're a certified financial planner. Has financial planning always been a passion of yours, or did something happen in your life to steer you toward that profession?
Yeah, great question, Neil. At one point, I actually thought I was going to be a sports agent, and then someone told me that you had to go to law school and you had to answer phone calls at 4 a.m. And I take my slate very serious, so I tried to keep it in the same ballpark. On how we could help professionals. And now, like today, we do not work with professional athletes. I essentially transitioned to more of the financial side of the equation as opposed to, maybe the legal side. So that was the big shift. And that actually happened before I attended college too. So right around my early years at Penn State University, I made the decision that I was going to major in finance, which led to the career in financial planning.
So you're not a sports agent. You're not you're not financial planning for sports agents or celebrities. You're dealing with healthcare professionals that are dealing with massive student debt. You've got this niche market in financial planning. Talk about this niche market. What is it? Yeah,
so it started off, Neil, with us working with some younger physicians, and as we were working with them, we started to see this reoccurring event, and that reoccurring event was high student loans. Mm-hmm. And while many outside of the healthcare profession, may think that high student loans is $50,000 or $60,000, which that is still a high amount of loans, we were often seeing $250,000. We've seen households that have over $1 million of student loan debt.
Wow.
So we wanted to become experts in student loan planning because we were seeing it from our client's perspective. We knew it was a big pain point for them. We know it had a lot of stress to it. There was a lot of moving parts. The system is relatively complex today. I think more complex than what we ever thought it would be. So the niche evolved by just seeing really what our current clients had in front of them, and then us wanting to help them as much as possible. And with the student loan numbers being so large today, as you can imagine, that's really top of mind for a lot of, I say younger physicians, but that can be all the way up into a few years of attending status, up to 10 years of attending status, and other healthcare professionals as well, not just physicians. We see these loans across the board.
Now, when you're talking about loans as high as $200,000, $500,000, $1 million worth of student loan, aren't we talking about relatively wealthy people, rich people? Are these the people that are your clients?
No, not exactly. So, I think when we think of physicians, we know that they will eventually have higher incomes. Obviously, their specialty will have a big factor on that number. But, we're seeing those very high numbers, and they're still in training. They're first-year residents, they're interns.
Wow.
And they're maybe making $60,000 per year, but they're staring at, $500,000 of student loan, or, again, if it's two spouses, $1 million of student loans. So all of a sudden, $60,000, $70,000 of income while in training doesn't seem like that big of a number when you're staring at debt that high.
So there at WealthKeel LLC, you've developed this niche called Henry Financial Planning. Am I correct?
Yeah. So we did that term has probably been more or less coined in the media world. That would be what we would call our niche, in the sense of most of our clients come to us where they are high income, or at least soon to be high income, but they're not rich yet. A lot of our clients have negative net worth, and they can have a negative net worth for many years of us working together. Even though they have this really great household income, they're still battling this student debt. Add a mortgage in there, they probably have a car or two. That net worth can stay negative for a while until we finally break down those student loans, whether we're going for traditional forgiveness. Again, public service loan forgiveness is very common in the medical professional world, or even just paying them more aggressively if they possibly go the private route. And so that is where that term Henry comes from.
So is it more beneficial to pay off these student loans for healthcare professionals than it is for, the average Joe out there? What is it about the healthcare professional that this glaring debt seems to be more detrimental, or is it more detrimental?
Yeah, and that's a great question, Neil, and that's one of the things that we really try to tackle early, because there is a unique factor for healthcare professionals, especially working in the nonprofit sector, which a lot of the big nonprofit hospitals today would qualify as a 503c1 organization. So they have this extra. I don't want to say it's a form of complexity because it has moving parts to it, but by going for public service loan forgiveness, if you're making qualified payments on a qualified payment plan and you do it for usually it's 10 years, it's 120 payments, they have this extra option to probably have a lot of that debt forgiven. Now, the complexity comes in, though. You could be working at a nonprofit hospital for all your years of training, but then you go for profit after it. And then it changes things, because now you may not qualify for public service loan forgiveness. We may now have to look towards the private market to get a lower rate. And now it just changes things. So that's where we think, our specialty and dealing with this situation numerous times now is that you have to know what you're going for, and that's not easy. We don't know what our goals are for next year, the following year, let alone, hey, I'm going to be in training for, 4 or 7 years. And then after that, I don't know, maybe my best offer comes from a nonprofit hospital. I stay in the education field. Maybe it's from a for-profit center, and it changes your entire plan. And when going for public service loan forgiveness, you're making a lot of big decisions, more or less because we're talking about very large debt numbers.
You mentioned earlier that it has lots of moving parts, and I'm assuming that these parts move as your client's career moves, from residency to retirement. Does WealthKeel stay on top of their clients' finances throughout their career, starting early in their career through retirement, or is this something that you get involved in once this client realizes, hey, I've got this huge debt and this negative worth, how do I manage it now?
Yeah, and another great question, and we really see both. So we always say we get a good mix of both delegators that want to allow us to become the family CFO or the chief financial officer, but then we also have the do-it-yourselfers out there, and especially from the student loan context, we'll get a lot of younger health professionals, again, just use interns and early year resident physicians that come to us just to say, hey, can you make sure I'm not doing anything silly with my student loans? Am I on track to have these forgiven? Am I using the best payment plan? What happens when we get married? What happens if we have kids? Can you at least get me organized on the student loans? Because as I mentioned earlier, that's usually top of mind. But then they'll usually circle back when they become an attendee. And one, their income's going to change. Their student loan could change drastically. And that's where we'll get more of our clients that become ongoing clients that we will stay there, for many years, decades. And our ultimate goal is when a client joins us, we hope that we're going to eventually guide them through retirement, which, can be many, many years and many decades. But that's the type of relationship that we like to build with our clients. But we get a good mix of both, Neil.
Now, with just about a minute to go, Chad, give us a website where we can go and learn a lot more about WealthKeel LLC and a little bit more about financial planning for young physicians just starting out in their financial planning careers.
Yep, you can just go to our website, which is wealthkeel.com. And we have we put a lot of new content on our blog as well, and you can actually click on the topics at the top. We have both a section for just physicians only, and then we also have a topic for student loans. So we put a lot of good content on there, and that should at least get you started on maybe some of the research and some of the items I noted on today's call here.
Thanks for joining us on the program today, Chad.
Thanks for the time, Neil. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
You as well. You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Transcripts and audio of this conversation with Mr. Chad Chubb of WealthKeel are available at healthprofessionalradio.com.au and also at hpr.fm. And be sure and visit our affiliates page when you visit our platform.
Thank you for listening to Health Professional Radio. We're very proud to be an independent broadcaster providing our content free of charge to you, the listener. One of the ways that we're able to remain free and independent is by having people like you become patrons. You can support Health Professional Radio simply by visiting hpr.fm and clicking the button that says Become a Patron. Your patronage of even just $1 a month lets us know that you're there, which in turn makes us more valuable to advertisers. And, of course, if you're able to afford more, then we would certainly appreciate the support. My name is Toby Longhurst from Health Professional Radio. Please visit hpr.fm, click the Become a Patron button, and support us if you can.